It's the Exit 52 podcast, Thursday, October 9th, 6:14 p.m. We are presented, as always, by Jimmy's Famous Seafood, and also this week brought to you by our old friends at Black Eyed Susan Spices, who are going to be on Saturday, November 15th at Baltimore's hottest event, which is back for its second year. The Black Eyed Susan Spice Company and Peabody Heights Brewery present Nevermore Hot 2025, Baltimore's premier hot sauce festival. It is an event that is free to attend, offers a full afternoon of spicy entertainment. Come sample products from over 25 spicy vendors from all over the country, including many whose sauces have appeared on the hit YouTube sensation Hot Ones. Shout out to our guy, Sean Evans. There will also be spicy food specials, oysters, live music, a festival-exclusive hot sauce from the Black Eyed Susan Spice Company, the infamous Spicy Wing Challenge hosted by DEFCON Sauces, and Peabody Heights Brewery is releasing the festival-exclusive Fire Extinguisher Pilsner to go along with all their other delicious beers. All this plus the Dugout, one of the coolest arcades around, will ensure a spicy afternoon of tears and laughs that you and your friends won't soon forget. That's all at Nevermore Hot, Saturday, November 15th from noon to 6 p.m. at Peabody Heights Brewery in Baltimore. Follow the festival on Instagram at Nevermore Hot, all one word, and check out the website, nevermorehot.com, for details. My name is Jake Louque. I'm joined on my screen by Gentle Spin Crenshaw. How are we doing tonight, my friend?
Just used some Cannonball Crush from Black Eyed Susan Spices all over my... What did I have last night? Some sort of skillet. I had like a yummy fall skillet, like Mexican skillet. Drowned Cannonball Crush on it. It was so good.
I gotta go get my my bottles. They're still at my parents' house from when I moved out. I brought like one of them with me, and I don't think my parents use it. My dad in particular likes spicy food, but he's not really much of the cook of the house, so I'm sure he would like them. But yeah, I got to get back there and get them. Got to talk to our guys and hook up some care packages, and maybe get out to the festival myself if the schedules align. Might be in Mexico, as is turning into a theme for me.
Your annual Mexico trip. Yeah, I got to get some more Red Flag, but yeah, go check out Black Eyed Susan Spices. Truly so good if you're a spicy boy. Like we always have, Devon in the comments always says spicy boys. There we go. Just perfect placement of a chat there. So yeah, here to talk Ravens, Rams, obviously, and the weather. It's a chain of food. Sunday, 10-12, 1 p.m. Eastern. Ravens are 7.5-point underdogs. Rams 7.5-point favorites, of course. Total 44.5. I'm getting so bad at doing this math. I used to be so fast at it all the time. That puts
you're rotting the brain with AI, by the way. I've been
24-17-ish is what Vegas has it at, which that sounds pretty good. Rams 380 favorites right now, I believe, on DraftKings. Ravens plus 300, 3-1 to win. When you think of the Ravens and the Rams, is there anything you think of, Jake, what do you think of pre Monday Night Football game in LA? Lamar had the Jackson 5, obviously. I know we always talk about that. Everybody always talks about that one. And what else do you think of? I have a couple little things.
Weirdly, the first one that comes to mind is the game that, you could maybe arguably trace back to Joe Flacco being on the Bengals right now. The game where he, of course, tore his ACL in the 2-minute drill where they walked off the Jeff Fisher-led Rams with a field goal there. Flacco, tears his ACL on a play that I couldn't recall for the life of me. It didn't come out till after the game that he had torn it, stayed in there to, quote, help with the time management stuff or something that he said to that effect. So that was the end of his, again, where these 2015 parallels keep popping up. That was that season. They beat, like I said, the Jeff Fisher-led Rams. Kind of a chippy game from what I remember. Fisher, having some comments about the Ravens, maybe playing a little dirty. I remember Case Keenum throwing an illegal forward pass that actually was not an illegal forward pass, but I was so angry because like the only thing across the line of scrimmage the correct way was like his right arm or his left arm or something like that. Just a weird game and a very frustrating, awful season. I hope the parallels start to end here, but I guess we'll see when we discuss.
That we will. Other games I'm thinking of, obviously, Torrey, have the chat here too. Torrey Smith, the rookie year, 3 touchdown. I believe The Rams, the 99 Rams rolled on the Ravens. I'm trying to find it. Pretty good. And I think that was Kurt Warner's first year as the Rams quarterback. I think they had Marshall Faulk from the Colts.
That was their, greatest show on turf. That was their Super Bowl year.
Yup, they had Azir Hakim, Torrey Holt, Ricky Prohl. What a fun team that was. Ravens trotting out Quadri Ishmael, had Priest Holmes, Brandon Stokely, some other funny names on there. Charlie Evans. Zero. I can't make that image happen in my brain. I remember the name, but I can't remember the look. That one. So Ravens have the all-time series 6-3 and a couple schlackings. Most recent game also, it wasn't as bad of weather as it was supposed to be in their most recent matchup. And the weather was not great, but it wasn't super windy. It was just kind of a heavy mist. And the Ravens obviously walking off on that crazy Tylan Wallace return touchdown. One of the more fun Ravens wins, I don't know, ever. That's like top
one of the last great like high approval rating John Harbaugh moments too, when he's walking off the field and like looking at the camera and kind of punching into it. The rain's like trickling down into the lens. Like that was
his eyes. He had some life in his eyes.
Yeah, that was man. It's obviously turned a 180 since then, but man, that was a really fun season with 2023, and that's probably when his approval rating was last in a pretty solid spot overall. He's always going to have his doubters and his haters, lunatics, and punk trash, as the Christmas Adventurers Club would say. But yeah, that's another one that I certainly think back to fondly. And yeah, the Tylan Wallace, man, what a fun, strange experiment having him be the punt returner. As I'm not, even with that touchdown, I'm not totally sure it was the right move. But he certainly paid it off in that spot. Always makes a play, as Jeffrey Jones said. Yeah, he's just a Tylan Wallace. Get him the ball once a game. He'll make you a play once a game. Other than that, not going to be a huge factor, but love the guy. Fan favorite.
He's a PTPer. He's a primetime player. Primetime
player, yeah.
He's got a little March Madness about him. He's just what a fun guy. What a fun guy Tylan Wallace is.
Is he the Jack Golke of the Ravens? I know that's a sensitive subject for you. You're not a Jack Golke guy, but
I don't like that one. He's a little Jimmer. He's a little Jimmer. He's a hooper. He's a hooper. He's the best hooper in China. Tylan Wallace would be the best wide receiver in China. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, well, that probably goes without saying.
So I'll call him the Jimmer. But yeah, those teams squared off. It was an interesting game, and Matt Stafford, not necessarily known for being a mutter throughout his career. That game, as I mentioned, didn't really turn into that affair. So the current weather report, there's reports of a nor'easter coming in, and we have Sunday, high of 64, winds averaging 13 miles an hour, gusts up to 33, as well as over an inch of rain accumulation throughout Sunday. So should be raining consistently. 17 mile an hour winds I'm seeing here now on weather.com. And everybody likes AccuWeather or whatever they have here. So day 60 to 80% chance of rain. So has potential to be a real sloppy game, and hard to think that doesn't benefit the underdog Baltimore Ravens. Ravens getting back some players this week as expected. They are effectively, as of today, without star quarterback Lamar Jackson, $100 million linebacker Roquan Smith, Chidobe Awuzie, who has been one of the most underrated Baltimore accent. I think I just did it pretty hard, not even trying to. Chidobe Awuzie, one of the better Baltimore names ever. We have it here from Jeff Zrebeck. So 3 starters. You also factor in, Washington on the IR, Matabike on the IR, injuries you shouldn't forget, as well as Ben Cleveland not practicing. Patrick Ricard still going to miss this game. I know Harbaugh said the Bears game was a target. Feels like they just were like, we should have IR'd him. We didn't, and we're opening up his fake window right now, getting him back to practice. So there, Marlon Humphrey returns to practice as well. So when you look at it, Jake, you got Kyle Hamilton, you got Marlon Humphrey, you think is coming back. It sounds like Marlon said he had butterflies in his stomach when he got on the practice field. Good to hear he's like all juiced up. He probably wants to go play with his new friends. He's got CJJGJ. I'm never going to say that one right. Chauncey Gardner Green Johnson.
CJGJ, which I don't know what the J in the middle there is for. I see Chauncey Gardner Johnson. I assume maybe the J is the middle name.
Perhaps. I'm trying to find his Wikipedia. I don't know off the top of my head.
We'll get the research team on it.
It's a dot into a hyphen. That's crazy. CD Deuce, 2X, whatever they like to call him there. 4th round pick in the 2019 NFL draft. For some reason, I thought he was drafted higher than that. I don't.
Okay, so he's Chauncey Gardner Johnson Jr. So it's CJ is what he goes by. So he's CJ.
So his dad has a hyphen too?
Yes. So his dad is Gardner Johnson as well, and he's CJ.
Okay, that makes sense. There we go. That's a good one. That checks a lot of boxes for names you need on your Super Bowl winning roster. He's a junior and he's a hyphen. That's needed. Ravens. Do the Ravens have anyone with dreads?
It's a good question.
Those are what I always like to say. You need somebody who's got a hyphenated last name. You need someone with dreads.
Well, if Lamar is going to be on ice this weekend, that's plenty of time to get those in the works because he's
got shaggy hair. No one? There's got to be somebody. Chat.
I feel like
in the chat. Who?
TJ Tampa, does he?
Tampa's got a little bit. He's got like hair though. His hair's like my length, kind of like maybe a little longer. Like it goes down like a little further. I wanted
to say he had kind of the dreads coming out the back when they drafted him. Maybe that's changed since then, or maybe I'm just wrong.
I need to scope it out. Chat, let us know. D-Hop. Boom. D-Hop. There we go. There we go. Thank you, Bud Flacco. I knew there was somebody. All right. So in terms of my mental checklist to have a good team to win a Super Bowl, those are checked off. 1-5 start would not be the case here. So Rams, man, in a rain fest. What did the Rams do well last time they came to Baltimore? I think the Ravens haven't changed a ton, and I don't really think the Rams have changed a ton in terms of what they like to do. Curious to see how the Ravens defense, quote unquote, adjusts, considering the Rams kind of ran down their throat the last time these two teams met. They were able to really chunk through the air and just move and stay ahead of the chains on first down. And that's really been the Ravens' biggest issue this year. They're averaging a league high amount of yards allowed on first down. Teams are getting into, I think they're allowing 6.93 last time I saw yards on first down. The second and manageable kills the Ravens, kills what they like to do. They're a team that thrives off of 3rd and long. They don't have the horses up front like they usually do for that 3rd and long stuff. But because those said horses are out, I think that's the struggle. So to me, this game is, I'll say, we can go inside the ball. We can talk about whatever we want to talk about. Rams like to run duo. Rams, I don't know how the Ravens, they talked about it in their pressers today. Harbaugh's talked about it. Munkin's talked about it. Zach Gore. I don't know how they're going to stop losing the time of possession. I don't know how they're going to not lose that in this game. They have to figure out a way. They might just have to load the piss out of the box and let guys go make mistakes, which seems to just not be what they want to do at all. But the last time these two teams squared off, let's see here, the Rams ran they had 30 rushing plays, averaged 4.3 a clip. Kyren Williams had 25 carries for 114 yards. Royce Freeman and Puke Nacua had a couple carries for a few yards. I feel like that identical stat line is about to occur. I feel like Kyren Williams is about to run 23 times for 115 yards, something like that. They like to condense. They like to bring in Puke Nacua as a impact insert blocker, really effectively a tight end. And they like to double team, work downhill. You still don't have Roquan Smith. You don't have your two kind of starting interior defensive linemen. Like Harbaugh said, like I said last week, I was pleased with the front in the run game against the Chiefs. Kyren Williams, a little bit more of an efficient back than a Kareem Hunt or a Pacheco, I would say. Really able to just dive into those little creases and go get his 7 yards. He's not, a crazy explosive runner, reeling off those 15-yard runs with a ton of frequency, but awesome at getting 4 yards when there's 2 yards there. Awesome at getting 6 yards when there's 3 yards there. Just burrows right through. And someone who's been really nice in pass protection, has had a little bit of fumble issues. So wet, slippery game, man. Load the box up. Obviously, Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams can kill you, but I think if the Rams sustain 2 possessions early and score a touchdown and a field goal, it's over. If nothing changes and they're able to have a scripted touchdown early, it's over. And I'll say this, if the Ravens don't score a touchdown in their first 3 possessions, it's over. The script has to be strong. I will give a little bit of grace that Cooper Rush, it was his first game starting last week and it was on the road. It will be rainy in this one. Monken's got to be better. He's got to get more creative, man. You have Zay Flowers who can make guys miss. You have Isaiah Likely, who's a strong player after the catch. Obviously, it was just his first week back, so he's not maybe fully integrated like you'd like. Justice Hill, to me, has been really good this year. I think he's looked fresh, explosive, tough, fast, physical. Got to figure out ways to creatively get those guys the ball in space. But again, I'll say this. Ravens don't score a touchdown early, it's over. They can't keep playing from behind. You can't keep letting teams run the ball down your throat, play keep away. You're not going to come back. If the Rams go up in the first quarter in their first 3-4 possessions, I just don't see the energy, even from a metaphysical standpoint. Like, the bye week's looming. We've seen the Ravens be lazy into buys and grade out of them over the years. Obviously, so many guys hurt. I think it's really easy in a shitty rainy game. Tickets are like $35 right now. Don't think the stands are going to be packed. Don't blame the fans for that either. I understand if you don't want to go in 20-mile-an-hour winds to go see the Ravens possibly get their ass kicked. I get it. Lamar Jackson not playing. But the first quarter is going to tell me a lot about this coaching staff and tell me a lot about the current state of the chutzpah of the players, I think. In a shitty game, in a game that I mean, are you going to are you going to roll over twice in a row? Are you going to let the Rams, who are a more stable, functional offense, just dog walk you like they did against the Texans last week? Like, you're going to give them easy shit underneath? Then, I mean, hang it up. Like, the season's kicked. So this first quarter to me is a really strong indicator of where this team is in terms of effort and in terms of care and in terms of what the product is going to be for the rest of the season. While I don't expect the Ravens to win this game, I expect better. There's more guys back. Kyle Hamilton, Marlon Humphrey. You bring in a couple veteran safeties that probably can fit the run better than those young guys. So that's my soliloquy on this episode. But I'm looking at that first quarter. Like, do you have a fucking plan? And are you ready to hit somebody if you're a player? Those are the two aspects that I think the Ravens need to summon and execute.
Yeah, it just feels like the majority of the season, they've had a defense that has not been able to get off the field. And it feels like they've had an offense that has not been able to stay on the field. And that is just the antithesis of winning football. Like, that's just going to kill you every time. And when I say the defense can't get off the field, what have we been talking about? It's not about the big plays that they're getting hit on, because they've been perpetually terrified of allowing that to happen. It feels more like, okay, well, we're not going to give anything big up. Well, with your talent deficiencies up front, that means teams are wisely taking the low-hanging fruit and they're just running for chunks on you, and they're checking it down on you, and they're getting into third and fourth and manageable, and they're converting every single time. And it just feels like the book is totally out. And like I said, I think the lack of talent and the injuries are a big part of that. But the defense, the issues go all the way back to week one. Obviously, the offense looked great in that game, but that was with Lamar Jackson. I think even in that Detroit game, there were issues with, and the Cleveland game too, there were some issues with the offense where it just felt like they were pass play dependent. They were big play dependent. They haven't been able to run the ball in chunks with Derrick Henry really at all. We've had a couple of big plays, a couple of big pops with him. But outside of that, it's been his fumbling issues, and it's been him just running into the line on first down and 10. And you set yourself up in second down and long. And that is just such a losing formula with Cooper Rush. And you're right. Like, this is the week to throw the kitchen sink. 2-4 is a lot more manageable going into the bye than 1-5. And this is the game where if you've got a play to spring Zay Flowers wide open, you use it. If you're going to start using Keaton Mitchell a little more creatively, I like that little, what was it, like a 70-yard game with him where they kind of faked the pitch and then they went to him on kind of the underneath rush there to gain like 7 yards in the red zone. I like that call. But you're going to need a lot more than that. And you're right. You're going to have to just find a way to take the air out of the football. If Ronnie Stanley's going to return, if this line can kind of figure things out a little bit in the same way that you did last season. I don't think they ran the ball particularly well against the Chiefs in that week one game in 2024. I was concerned about that offensive line. They figured it out. Like, it's time to go and figure it out and show some fight and show some belief that you can do this without Lamar Jackson, that this is not an entirely Lamar Jackson dependent operation on offense. And I'll give Monken grace out of anyone on this coaching staff. I still really love what the guy has to offer. I love his disposition, but man, this is a prove it game for him. Not nearly as much in a way as it is for Zach or even John Harbaugh, but like, you really got to show something. And defensively, I mean, you look at Gardner Johnson, I think hopefully he can bring some of that attitude. Hopefully he can bring some fight to a defense that has completely lacked punch and lacked pop. And it sounds like he's assimilating well with his teammate here. Funny quote from the locker room. This from Sam Jane. Chauncey Gardner Johnson told me he signed with the Ravens because it was, quote, his only option, which is really funny on the surface. But Sam followed it up with another tweet where he says, one note, Gardner Johnson's been very active in the locker room, talking with teammates, seems to be making good first impressions. So that's good to see. And then with the addition of Alohi Gilman, are you going to be bringing Kyle Hamilton down a lot more in the run game? And is he going to be able to make plays? And if not, impact the passer? We've talked about his pass rushing skills, maybe get a sack or two on Matthew Stafford, maybe stop his old buddy, Kyron Williams. They were boys at Notre Dame. I don't know, like using him as a weapon more, maybe that can help you. And philosophically, just being a little bit different against the idea of, oh, well, we're just not going to give up the big play. Guess what, man? You can sit up there in your too high shell all day. You're not going to stop Puke Nacua for this entire game. He's going to get his on you no matter what. So creativity from both sides of the ball with this coaching staff are going to be absolutely imperative, because you're just so handicapped talent-wise right now that I don't really see a path to a win in this game. Even if things are firing on all cylinders, it's going to be difficult. But if it's just going to be the same thing that we saw last week, where, like you said, it just kind of looked like they were understudies in a high school play in rehearsals, and they're just like, yeah, I'll just get through my lines and whatever, we'll throw it over to the big show for the real talent like that. You can't have that happen again. And schematically, I don't think you or I really have much as to what the answers could be, but this is a prove yourself game, very much so. And I don't think the fact that you're expected to lose this is any sort of excuse to go out there and lay another egg. I think you've really got to try and mix it up and got to try and show something and got to try to get some fight out of these guys.
Definitely. And you're looking at, it's a different flavor, but the product that the Rams defense puts out is two really, really strong edge defenders in Young and Verse. They're physical, a little bit more, I'd probably say a little more physical than the finesse of the Texans edges. Those guys are playing elite football right now. Jared Verse is a monster. His physicality, his bull rush, something that Ronnie Stanley coming back from injury is going to be a quick test. Hopefully the rainy condition would help out a little bit. Usually that benefits the offensive line, who has the benefit of coming off the snap, understanding the snap count, things like that. And then Young on the other side, man. So I think Rosengarten and Stanley have been admirable in pass protection overall. I don't think either of them have been a root cause for any issues of this offensive line. Inside, the Rams have, some physical guys. Poona Ford, they've got Kobe Turner as well, who's been a really nice young player, has had some injuries and struggled a little more than he did as a rookie early on. Fisk, someone that is a little lighter and has not been as strong as originally thought, but can get after it a little bit. So that front can really hurt an attack. They're a pretty steady run front. I don't think they have world-beating linebackers necessarily. Defensive backs wise, it's not anything remarkable. Unfortunately, the weather might end up impacting. Like, if you can't run the ball on this team and it's rainy, I don't know what to say, because I'm looking at this. Like, if it was played in a sunny game like last week against the Texans, then I'm thinking, hey, what did we see last year? Hey, Zay Flowers shot play. Hey, that seemed to put a spark into this team. Hey, can you attack over top a little bit? Do some max protection stuff, trying to gate the rush. So when it's 20-mile-an-hour winds and rain, probably not. So 44.5 I'm looking at. Like, Rams could score 26 points in this one, and are we shocked if Ravens scored 13 points? No, absolutely not. So to me, this is like a pride game, a defensive pride game. I don't know what there is to think that the Ravens will have a more competent offensive approach in worse weather, other than maybe footing, like helping them. Derrick Henry able to hit a run or two. Henry is among the leaders in yards after contact per carry. He's averaging like 2.6, I think, last I looked. And I think it was like fourth or fifth highest in the NFL. He is getting hit in the backfield constantly. They don't have anything inside. So run. It's just tough because it's like, all right, we'll run outside. Okay, go run at Jared Verse. He's the most physical. Like he kind of Jared Verse kind of reminds me of Suggs, man. Kind of reminds me of that straight through your face player. He's big. He doesn't need to play a finesse style. He's crafty, big, and athletic.
He said he'll be, quote, fucking furious if Lamar does not play in this game. Lamar is on his sack bucket list, which I think you're going to be fucking furious, Jared. Please don't take it out on Cooper Rush.
Well, I mean, maybe he's disinterested. I don't know. Probably not. Guy's psychotic. Love the way he plays. Kind of player that we've been bitching about the Ravens not being able to put into their defense. Someone who puts his face mask through a mofo's chest nonstop. Love his game. Young's a fun player. So I don't know. It's just, again, I'm just going to go back to pride. Like, you were utterly incompetent a week ago. You weren't really missing that many guys on offense. Sure, you're missing your highly paid left tackle and, of course, the quarterback. Can you use counter? Can you use toss sweep? Can you use spread gun run game a little bit? The Ravens are not facing heavy boxes. I think it might have been Chris Longshore was talking about that the Texans didn't play heavy boxes that much, and I kind of had a realization. I was like, oh, yeah, that makes sense when I thought about the tape. Just getting their ass kicked up front, man. And Harbaugh mentioned this week making changes, shaking things up. Everything's on the table. We talked about the Oweh trade. We talked about CJ, GJ. We talked about Alohi Gilman. Those things, sure, those are little shakeups. You're not running the ball well enough. And it comes down to your guys on your offensive line, your tight ends. Of Pat Ricard, sure, he would help. But he's not going to help Daniel Faalele move a human out of the way. He's not going to help Voorhees get his hands in the right spot. I just think that they're like those two guys, like, where is your effort to finish plays, man? It's just not there through the whistle. How many times are you watching, like, there becomes the scrum, the stalemate of a run play, and the defensive guys are stalemating, feet are moving, dragging back, and it's just like offensive linemen just fucking standing there looking. They're not, to me, that means you're not an offensive lineman. Like, if you're standing and watching, you don't play offensive line. You're not allowed to say you play offensive line. That's what I would say in Pee Wee. That's what I would say, or Pop Warner, Pee Wee, whatever you want to call it. That's what I would say on JV. That's what I would say on varsity. That's what I would say Division III. If you want to consider yourself a big ugly, block through the fucking whistle. Like, there's just nothing. I don't see Faalele. You're big, slow, plotting fuck. I don't know. I just, it's like he's a 7'5" center and he can't box out. Like, he only wants to shoot threes. Like, you're Bol Bol. Bol Bol gets blocks at least. No disrespect to Bol Bol. So can you at least just, like, finish some fucking blocks through the play? I don't even care at this point if you get holding. I don't care if you get illegal hands to the face. I don't care if you get unsportsmanlike conduct. Like, somebody fucking hit somebody, man. That's all it boils down to. Can someone on this offensive line play with a little salt, a little vinegar? I was watching season 2 of The Wire. Can you go down to the fucking Harbor Yard and make jokes when a huge crate falls on your leg? Can you give a guy a cigarette, tell him his leg's going to be fine? Like, where's the salt and vinegar and the piss? It just doesn't it doesn't even epitomize Baltimore. I'm sick of it. I don't even mean to single out Faalele specifically. He's the one that's obviously most maddening because he's so big. But Voorhees, you're supposed to be like fucking Shrek. Like, at USC, he was nasty. I just don't see any tenacity to finish plays. Is that a reflection of coaching? Probably. I think teams take the personality of their coach. You take the personality of your coach, you take the personality of your play caller, you take the personality of your quarterback. And the quarterback gets pretty pissed off. So Monken, Warhop, Harbaugh, can somebody finish a fucking play, man? I don't know. That's the one thing that I want to see. And I'll end my second soliloquy with this. But again, it's the first quarter. Can it be 3-0? Can it be 3-3? Can you take a lead? Like, why did the Rams lose to the 49ers? Because Kyle Shanahan went in his motherfucking bag, schemed guys open underneath, easy throws for Mac Jones.
That's another thing I wanted to bring up. Like, Cooper Rush is supposed to be one of the better backup quarterbacks in the league. Like, I don't know if he's like marginally better or worse than Mac Jones, but like
I'm taking Mac Jones 10 out of 10 for sure. But
right,
yeah,
like and Mac Jones, a highly drafted, first round pick with pedigree from Alabama. Like, I definitely would take Mac Jones, but like Cooper Rush, he won plenty of games with the Cowboys. Like, can you find a way to make it a little easier for him to get some layups and not have to hit DeAndre Hopkins in this like phone booth to convert that one big play that they had? Like, it just felt like they didn't have a plan for him at all. It was just like, oh, we're just going to lean on Henry. And it's like, oh, if that doesn't work, then we're fucked. And you can't lean on Henry and you're fucked.
I just don't think, and it's again, like, sure, Trent Williams exists. He's not exactly like the Trent Williams. This is the first year where he's looked like I compare it to like Ronnie Stanley's not Ronnie Stanley of 2019. Trent Williams is not Trent Williams of like 3 years ago. He's looking a little more mortal. Not, it's different scales, but they have a shitty offensive line. That everyone talks about the 49ers injuries. I think the injuries are being understated for how bad it was for the Ravens. However, again, you did have 4 of 5 guys last week. The Niners, I think, had 4 of 5 or 5 of 5 of theirs, and were able to figure out how to create lanes in the run game. So that is the one area of looking at this Rams team, looking at how I might be being an idiot. I'm pretty sure the Rams actually stalemated them pretty good, and they were kind of throwing to McCaffrey. I think McCaffrey was getting a lot of touches out of the backfield. Wasn't necessarily running game, but
there was a lot of who's that one receiver that was on the Pats, Kendrick Bourne. There was a lot of him in that game, weirdly.
Yeah, and again, it was working crossers. The Rams are not exactly like a man-heavy they're not the Browns. They're not going to go get in your face. They're going to play a little more zone. You can run through zone. You can play with their linebackers are a little bit easy to manipulate. It's going to be rainy and wet and weird. So, like, I don't know. To me, the Texans showed you, and I'm going to compare again those edge rushers. They're like, hey, we don't think you're going to try to throw the ball over top. We're just going to flood the underneath zones. We're going to make you they know Cooper Rush doesn't want to hold the ball. They know the offensive line's not a strength. They know that the run game is not a strength. So they're like, hey, throw the ball underneath and try to run the ball. It's going to be futile. We're going to aggressively have our line shoot into the backfield. I don't know why the Rams wouldn't do exactly what they just saw. So just not a fun perspective, knowing that you just saw the Texans with 2 really good edge rushers. And now you see the Rams with 2 really good edge rushers. But can you show any sort of physicality? Can the run game rely on power a little more or spread? Like, throw the kitchen, run every single run concept, run trap, run wham, run fucking speed option with Cooper Rush, even in the rain, and fumble the ball and have the rain. I don't care.
Get a Huntley package in there. Let him run around a little bit.
Get a Huntley package going. Absolutely. So I don't know, man. I want to see fight. I want to see effort. I want to see Monken. Ever since the Matabike injury, we had kind of heard through the grapevine that basically, like, the day where the Ravens realized how bad his injury was, that none of the coaches, the positional coaches, were there. None of the front office, none of the coaches were out, like, at practice with the players. So probably trying to maybe like console Matabike, or panicked and trying to have a meeting or whatever. It made sense. To me, it seems like this. Matabike went down. Ravens said, fuck. Then they didn't invest in the time necessary into a game plan defensively. They didn't know how to overcome it. They panicked. The Lions ran it down their throat. I have not felt like, other than maybe the Chiefs game, on either side of the ball, there has been an opponent-specific game plan that was built to attack the weakness of their opponent. So that's what I'm looking for. Harbaugh, that's what I'm looking for. Monken, that's what I'm looking for. I'm going to say Harbaugh again first, then Zach Orr. Like, what is the Rams' weakness? I don't know. They run the ball well. They throw the ball well. They run a lot of outside zone stuff again. They're kind of getting back on that horse. They run duo well. Their offense is balanced and good. Defensively, it's picking on those linebackers, probably trying to get their cornerbacks in the run game, like seeing if you can wash any one of those edge rushers out and run outside. So can I see a definitive game plan? I know Harbaugh called Monken out, and I think he was right too. And I think Monken's not done a great job since. Obviously, I'll give that grace. I misspoke earlier. Last week was Rush's first start. Before that, I'm not expecting Rush to come in and play well, or any backup quarterback to come in and play well in Kansas City when it's loud and you're dejected and you're already down. But, I'll give you the grace of last week of like, hey, that was your guy's first start. He's played this will be the third game he's played in, second start in a row. Like they clearly have known Lamar's not going to be able to play. Kind of feels like they knew they were fucked against the Texans because so many guys were going to be out. I mean, it was unbelievable. Then Hamilton ends up being out. You got most of your guys back. You're about to have the bye week. Can you throw something at their defense and score 17 or 20 points in the first 3 quarters of this game? Like, be creative. I don't care. Have James Prochet throw a fucking interception. I don't care. Do you have any sort of definitive plan? I don't have one. I didn't watch tape. Don't think people are interested in tape right this moment. But to me, it's like, can you please attack a weakness and do it consistently for at least the first half or first 3 quarters of a game on either side of the ball?
Yeah, it's just like any kind of coherence, any kind of like, hey, there are adults in the room here. Like there are people that are still treating this like it's a winnable game. There are people that still have belief. It just feels like we haven't had that for a couple of weeks now. Like, did it really feel like there was a ton of belief going into that Kansas City game? I don't know. Maybe. I think I actually picked them to win it, but I kind of just, that was like a Nick Young swaggy P just tossing one up, walking away, throwing up the 3 sign, and it just clangs out of the rim. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't felt it since the Detroit game, and yeah, just feels like they've been stuffed in a locker since then, and they've been clawing and scratching to try to get their way out, and they just haven't shown any kind of fight to be able to do so. So
I think that in the Chiefs game they did have a plan. They wanted to run the ball. They were running the ball well. They wanted to use screens. They got away from it. They started dropping Lamar back. And again, that's why Harbaugh kind of laid into Monken in the press. And Monken was like, yeah, I fucked that one up probably. So yeah, that was the only time I felt like, okay, I see what the Ravens were trying to do. Opening the game, like, tells you, I don't know. The Texans are a very, very good defense and structure well, and they have been, and they have the horses. And I would, probably take their defense over the Rams in a Madden sense or in a vacuum, however you want to put that perspective. But another really good defense in your house. The weather might play to your advantage. You have the bye week. Like, I don't know. A lot to overcome, a lot of brain power, a lot of error. It's a dark time, really, of the last decade. Like we said, we keep going back to exactly a decade ago. It kind of feels like that. I don't know. The weather, special teams, like randomness. I don't have a bunch of tape to break down, like I said, but just fucking show something. That's all I think fans are asking for. I think that's all that the Ravens should be asking of themselves. Like, play with physicality. Can your coaching staff have defined game plans to fucking not just sit in zone coverage and rush 4 and like sit in nickel or dime or whatever? And can you creatively figure out how to get your stupid fucking interior offensive line to create lanes in the run game? Personnel wise, width of formation wise, concept wise, there's got to be 3 things that you can throw at the Rams to get Derrick Henry fucking rolling downhill in the beginning of this game in a rainy game. There has to be. There has to be. The Rams are not the greatest run defense on earth. I think they're a solid pass unit, have pass rush. Teams have had some success. They've had some hit and miss games against some really good backs and run games this year, but I'm not expecting much.
Yeah, nor am I. And I guess with that, we can get into it. What do you got happening in this one? Score, how's it going to feel? How's it going to wind up?
I don't know. I mean, the weather is just I'm just going to take the under. I'm just going to say it's like 20-12 Rams, 22-13 Rams. The bad dark image I have in my head is like some stupid, horrible fumble that the Rams pick up and run back in the rain, and they're just celebrating in the end zone. I don't know why that keeps haunting me, but I'm going to say it's a Rams special teams, a Rams defensive touchdown in this game. I don't know. Just the run game is just such a sad concept to me. Like, in the Roman years, it was at least like the games Lamar missed. It was like, well, shit, we're still going to run for 150. Like, that's the worst. as a defense playing a backup quarterback, that's the worst. When you go play a backup and you're a favorite and you're like, shit, they're still kind of rolling with Latavius Murray or Devontae Freeman. They're still hitting it 5 yards a clip. That's how you can win games when you're down. But yeah, I'm going to go like 22-13 Rams is my guess.
Yeah, I'll go 24-14 Rams. Yeah, I'm just right there with you. Just, as much as we talk about the creativity and having the want and all that kind of stuff, I do also think this roster is just kind of undermanned right now. I think it was probably a bit poorly constructed, unfortunately, in a way that I really didn't foresee. I thought this roster was ready to go, but even when at full strength, it just feels like there's deficiencies with this offensive line. There were deficiencies with the defensive line, even with Matabike in there. Now he's out. That's a big concern. There's just kind of everything in the world working against the Ravens right now. I feel like they're, as much as I hope they show some fight, I'm not really sure we see it. I think they're just kind of waiting to get to the bye week, get their quarterback back into the lineup and try to make a run in the second, half of the season or thereabouts after the bye.
There you have it. I do have a penalty in fantasy football. Shout out to the Ooze Rats Fantasy Football League. If you start a player and they have 0 points or less, which happened for me, you do have to submit a video chugging an ice.
Who was the player?
Mine was the Rams defense last week. So just fucking me up and down.
That doesn't seem right with the defense. Come on.
It adds some flavor. So I know I've got some friends in here. I told them to join. This is a pint. The franchise acquired for me an entire pint. So this is not a normal one.
She is. Wow. I mean, what a
triple black extra crisp lime. So I'm going to try and have this. I can't kneel, but I'm going to try and have a go in one here. It's freezing cold too. This is going to be bad. All right.
First it was milk and now it's ice.
Shout out to the Ooze Rats. Rams defense had to be them too going into this week. Just terrible.
A pint. I mean, that's the franchise is doing no favors. My girl is a killer.
There you have it.
Look at that throat.
No burps are allowed either. So
I'll be monitoring that.
Rams defense just killing me here. So thanks a lot, Sean. Thanks a lot.
Your guy, Sean McVay. We haven't talked about that angle either.
My guy, Sean McVay. He's just gonna have a fun. His hair is gonna be a little wet, so it's just gonna be all slicked back, and
he's gonna have that little lock of hair coming down the forehead. He's gonna be looking at his laminated play sheets, extra laminated this week to prevent for the weather. But yeah, no, guy couldn't just fucking retire and go work for NBC or something. He had to come here and make this game. Stafford couldn't walk away either. So the clone of Matthew Stafford is gonna walk into Baltimore and just hang 50 on this woeful defense, isn't he?
Just like a back to like, this is kind of a lick back game too. The Texans definitely they definitely wanted to shove the Ravens face in it. They said it. And again, like, it's pro football. If you can shove anyone's face in it, they deserve it 10 times out of 10. But the Ravens have given McVay, I mean, he threw the fucking kitchen sink at them. The Rams offense rolled, came back late in that game. Ravens had to have some heroics and truly stole that one. The Monday night game, not a lot of the same players as that Monday night game years ago, 2019, but McVay wants to get his against the Ravens. You just know he's like, I fucking got you, Harbaugh. Your team's all weak. I'm just gonna take your ass right now. So overall,
not probably super thrilled about his last outing and how it ended either. I think they're probably pretty excited to go out there and say, hey, you know what? We're still on track here. That was just a blip on the radar against stinky Mac Jones and the boys.
Certainly. And it's just ironic that they're coming off of a loss to backup quarterback. Kyle Shanahan did allegedly want Mac Jones, Mac 10, one of the coolest possible. Really, for someone named McCorkle to end up being in the NFL and getting the nickname Mac 10, just
from one of the least cool people probably in the world.
I would hang out. Mac Jones is probably a fun hang. I think he's a great hang.
Too fun of a hang in some instances.
I think he's a great hang. I think Mac Jones is sick to hang out with. I think he'd be very cool. I think he's like top 10 quarterbacks I'd like to probably have a beer with in the NFL right now.
Cooper Rush should say he should pull the Mac Jones and say, hey, we got to start throwing the ball. This fucking running game sucks, like Mac Jones did when he was on the Patriots that one time.
That'd be funny. Yeah, Cooper Rush, just, throw some picks. I don't care, man. I really don't. So if the Ravens can pull one out, it would be, I don't even know. I don't even want to think of it. I don't even want to talk about how nice it would be to be 2-4 instead of 1-5. That
would be Shawshank Redemption levels, like restorative power of faith. Like
2-4 is so manageable, so disgustingly manageable. Yeah. So John Harbaugh, Todd Monken, Zach Orr, we got in the chat here a bunch. Like, is this Zach Orr's last game as DC? If you're non-competitive, I think it has to be. I'm sorry, Zach. Something's got to give. I have a burp. I'm about to break the rules. It's been a couple minutes. There we go.
I've been filibustering and trying to keep the episode go just so that could happen.
There we go. So I think I made it clean there. But yeah, is the Zach Orr, like, I don't know what you've got in the sink, but throw it. I don't know. Everything you've possibly got, blitz package wise, run game wise. I mean, that they're just going nuts at this point. This, I feel like, is where they've had some time since those injuries, and you start to be able to actually evaluate your players and figure out.
Try to like pretend it's not happening. Just like roll through it.
Yeah. Try to actually evaluate who you can play in your front. And again, I think Brent Urban, I think Travis Jones were big uglies last week. Rams offensive line a little better. We don't have to keep talking all the way through it. It's 45 minutes in, and hey, Ravens probably going to just take a fucking stinky L in this one, but that's why we like to talk. We like to chat. We like to do this for the fun part and the cathartic part. So tough, mega tough scene. We go to the game, much respect. And I think that's it, my friend.
I think that is it. Thank you all for hanging with us here in the chat. If you liked what you heard, subscribe to us here on YouTube. Like the video, comment on it for us. You can also find us across social media at Exit52 Podcast on X, Instagram, TikTok, all that good stuff. You can find me on X at Jake Louque. That's Louque, Spenny at Ravens 4 Dummies. That is the number 4 in the middle. Brian at Borisville Banks, Taylor at Taylor Smith 10. Our guys just down at the Captain's Cup, thriving, having a little Twin Peaks lunch today, watching some First Things First and getting some Mahomes Mountain content to us in the group chat. We salute you guys. Eric at EDITTI22. Talk to you guys again on Sunday evening after a huge Ravens win, I'm sure. And until then, you have yourselves a good weekend, and we'll see you.
See ya.
Arrivederci.